Welcome to the Brother Henry and You Show. I am your host, Henry Harris. We hear quite a bit about religious trauma and how people have been traumatized by the religious establishment, but rarely ever do we hear about how to recover from that. Many of us have experienced religious trauma and all of the attachments that come with it. While several may hold to the belief that there is just simply no hope or change for their situation, I'm here to tell you that there is hope and there is total healing for you. You may feel like that's impossible right now because that's just how you feel, but just as surely as you were hurt, I'm here to tell you that you can be healed. Just as surely as you were broken, I'm here to tell you today that you can be restored. So like any wound, it takes time to heal. Much of the trauma we experience in religious circles, we certainly don't get over it overnight. But the good news is there is always recovery. Can I say it again? There is always recovery. Recovery from the religious trauma within itself will require your participation. No one experiences healing without your involvement or participation. You simply have to want to be healed from it, or you can make a choice to remain in it. We have a choice. Do I choose to stay traumatized by what happened to me? Or we can become aware of what happened and awaken how toxic it is and recover from it. We must also be mindful that some may not be ready for this recovery process. For some, they have normalized it and they don't see no potential danger at all. And that's really sad that you've been hurt and abused so much by the religious establishment that you can't even see it yourself. It's almost normal to you now. It's like somebody being in slavery and you got somebody saying, hey, I want to get you out of slavery, but you're like, you may not say it, but in reality is, I'm comfortable with this. I've been living in this situation for so long, or predicament for so long, I don't really want to be free. I'm comfortable in my abuse. I'm comfortable in my slavery. I'm comfortable with the manipulation and all the stuff that's attached to religious trauma. Some have normalized it. Some people in so many ways in the religious abusive establishment are no different than a wife leaving an abusive husband, but then returning back to the abusive environment. Some people may say, well, that's just strange. You know, she's sitting there, I'm going to leave him and blah, blah, blah. And then you go right back to him. Well, we're doing the same thing when we're dealing with the religious establishment. Many who want to fully recover from religious trauma but choose to stay connected to the very thing that hurt you does hinder your healing process, and it also demonstrates to me that you're not really ready, as you say, to take that step. How many times one must be religiously abused to realize that he or she is being abused? How many times you have to be abused to realize that you are being abused? How is it that one has finally been exposed to the truth relating to religious trauma, but denied the recovery process or may even be in denial about it altogether? You know you're being abused, but you're in denial about it altogether. You cannot force a person to be ready. If they're not ready, they're just not ready. And until they are, and sadly, some have experienced this type of abuse so much, it is almost normal. Ministries all over the world have traumatized people with fear, endless fear and threats, and what I like to call spiritual paranoia. We must finally and fully detach ourselves from this type of behavior and abuse before you can be free. You cannot be free still holding on to the very thing that traumatized you. You have to let it go. Well, Henry, how do I recover? Where do I start? Number one, you have to identify with the pain. That just simply means acknowledge that the pain is there. Number two, speaking to the pain. That just simply means, okay, I acknowledge the pain. Now I'm going to speak to this pain because whatever the pain is and whatever I was traumatized by, I refuse to allow that to dictate and define who I am and my life. That will no longer be a shackle for me, so to speak. What you refuse to acknowledge will never heal. Here are 5 ways to recover from religious trauma as we go to a close. Number 1, remove yourself from the environment. If that means deleting cell numbers, blocking people, whatever you got to do, whoever did the abuse, you have to remove yourself from the abusive environment. Number 2, create boundaries. What you would have dealt with before, now you have no tolerance for. For example, religious bullying, etc. Number 3, connect with people who have or may be going through a similar process as you have been doing. Or better yet, sometimes people create groups. Maybe you do a Facebook group or get together with people that have had similar experiences and share all of your stories about your recovery process and what you've went through. Number 4, find a safe place, and that's very hard. Living in a world where it's hard to trust people, it's very hard to find a safe place. But if you can, find a safe place. That just means somebody to talk to, somebody to be transparent with, somebody to be vulnerable with, somebody to be open with. And number 5, re-examine your theology. Sometimes what we believe is just simply wrong, and we believe what we believe oftentimes because that's just what the pastor said, because it was spoken over the pulpit, you accept it. Do you not realize that words are powerful? I don't accept everything I hear. I don't watch everything I hear. What you believe can be just as harmful. But you have to have the courage and the power and the will to let that go. Yes, even if it's bad theology, let it go, because that can traumatize you too. A lot of stuff that we've been taught growing up was just traumatic. It's sad when religion leads to trauma, when the body of Christ should be known for a place of transformation and restoration. It's your day today to walk in full victory and freedom from religious trauma. Once again, as I said in the first episode, if you know someone who has experienced religious trauma or they've been traumatized by religion, maybe they heard of the term and just don't know what it is or they want to become familiar with it, please share these last 5 episodes with them and do a hashtag, The Brother Henry and You Show, hashtag religious trauma. I appreciate you, and I hope there was something that I said over the course of the last 5 weeks that has uplifted you and inspired you. And listen, all I want to do is see you whole. All I want to do is see you free. As I said in one of the other episodes, abuse is not okay. No matter if it's physical abuse, emotional, spiritual abuse, no abuse is okay under any circumstances. And all I'm doing is I am trying to bring you to a place to awaken and realize your true worth. And one thing you are not worthy of, you are not worthy to go through abuse. You can be free from it. Whatever you were traumatized by, whatever you was hurt by, I'm here to tell you today that there is healing for you. And I believe that the best is yet to come in your life.
We hope you have enjoyed today's program. We want to connect with you. Visit us at facebook.com/The Brother Henry and You Show, or visit us on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Henry Harris 100. We're so grateful you tuned in today and hope you have a fantastic day.